Joe, you there? Did we lose Joe on his own show? There he is. At least there for a second. He's ping-ponging. Joe, do we got you?
Break.
There you
Nightcap
go.
with Joe
All
Soro.
right.
And my co-host, Gerald. Or am I tweaking out?
You are tweaking out a little bit, but looks like your modem, your router's playing Pong again.
No, your shit's ponging.
I see 5 full bars on mine.
I see 5 full bars on mine. This is like when you're on the cell phone and you're, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I got good service, and then the other guy has good service too.
Okay.
Anyways, we're here to talk basketball, maybe a little bit of baseball too, because that's coming up here in a week. But our topic of the evening is there's some good news coming out of Lakerland with Mr. LeBron James possibly on the road to recovery.
Yep.
Is this true, or is this just wishful thinking?
Well, Shams Charania seems to have pardon the pun here, a beat on LeBron's groin, his groin there. So with that, he did say that LeBron did fly home to Los Angeles earlier before his teammates to get more work, but that the signs are positive, that it is going well. The treatment is going well. So he has that beat on LeBron's groin. Yes.
That's the great choice of words, by the way.
I know. I knew you'd like that.
Yeah, I want to thank you for wearing a pink shirt again with
it's
yellow.
Orange, you idiot.
Yeah. Pink is the color of the month. Why? Because it is Women's Month, right, Gerald? And you're a big supporter of women.
That's a tie-dye orange, you idiot.
Tie-dye. This is 2025. This is not 69 at
it's
Woodstock.
From the Las Vegas
if you're going to continue to wear pink shit,
right? It's orange, you dumbass.
You might as well just start eating salmon dinners.
Nightcap with dumbass. That's what I'm going to rename this Nightcap with the blind dumbass.
No. YouTube will not allow that.
Right, the Nightcap with
YouTube will not allow that, and I agree with YouTube on that one. 100%. 100% on that one. And you know how much I don't like YouTube, so you know I'm serious on that one.
It's an orange shirt. You're blind. Go ahead.
Frozen again.
Yep. Frozen. Can you hear me, Jeff?
I can hear you. I can see the orange.
He doesn't get it. First, orange shirt, his router. He doesn't get these things. It's just like hardhead, wall, Joe. And he's the one that blinks out.
I think it's the HGH.
Yeah, I think it is. Absolutely. Everybody talks about I had a commenter the other day talk about LeBron referring to him as the Balco Ninja. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a new one. All right.
I've heard the Balco and it's just shout out my guy Chris. There's Joseph.
I don't know what's going on.
You're the one that wigged out, man.
I don't know what kind of operation you're running here, but I mean, what the hell? I mean,
you're the one with the 4800 baud modem from the 1990s.
Modem, dude. I just replaced all this stuff with state-of-the-art shit.
Well, you need to go back to that store you bought it.
It's the archaic shit that you have that I have with the new stuff.
This episode is brought to you by Streaming for Dummies. Make sure to get your copy now.
There you go. And there's also cliff notes added to the end of it too, on how to run a radio show. See. Look, I don't know if you guys heard the last bit of what I was saying here, but
all I heard was the shirt, and I can listen to that all day. You guys going back and forth on
that.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, Chris, what's up, brother?
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for the super chat. Truly
thank you for the super chat. Gerald, go ahead and thank everybody before I start.
Shut up, Joe.
Okay.
Empire Jeff is here. Please support his channel. Lakers and Dodgers coverage right there.
And support.
It's an orange shirt, you idiot.
Yeah, support what he's wearing too, because I gotta hand it to Jeff, man. That guy is on point with his gear, and he's starting to make me try to up my game now. I'm buying hoodies now because of this guy. Yeah, look at it. I got my little army green, even though it kind of looks like it's brown, depending on which shade of pink that will bounce off of Gerald's shirt is. So again, props to Jeff for that. Anyways, come on. We came here to do a show here, not to crack on shirts and stuff. So LeBron apparently is on the road to recovery. It sounds like there isn't an issue with long-term injury. What does that mean in the next week? Because the next week's going to be a barn burner. Is that the right term? Or is that just
barn burner?
Stupid? Yeah, that's stupid. Huh? Yeah, I should have said that.
You just dated yourself there like about 25, 35 years.
Cool. That's what happens when you hang around with tie-dye guys. You start going back to the future. Anyways, so we are now going to at least probably
my eyes rolling. You could hear it.
That's good. Good for you. Good. Keep doing that while I speak. There is now maybe a timetable that there is maybe that 7 to 10 day window, if indeed this is true. If that's the case, maybe this will motivate the team a little bit to play their rear ends off here for the next week. By the way, thank you very much to Minnesota for beating Denver tonight. That was a huge help tonight. And Boston losing also helps just because it's Boston losing, so that's good too. But I wanted to ask, since Gerald was here first, Gerald, what's your assessment on LeBron possibly coming back earlier than we might have thought, because we just didn't know what was going on? And what do you think he did? Did he fly to Germany or something? Like, that's what Kobe used to do.
Well, you know him. He spends over what was it reported, $1 million each and every year on his health. So I wouldn't rule out him flying anywhere on this planet on a private jet to go where he needs to go to get a quick recovery. Do I think that it may be rushing him a little bit? He knows his body better than anyone at 40 years old. I'm not gonna argue with him at this point, okay? Because whatever we say, oh well, maybe he should just slow down a little bit or lay out here. He goes and he amazes us all. So I'll just say he knows his body better than anyone. I mean, the medical staff and the training staff are there, and if he says he's good to go, he's good to go. But Sham's tweet earlier today was very illuminating as far as, you know, him possibly coming back during the home stand that's coming up, and I'm thinking that might be the case. So
excellent information, Gerald. Thank you for that. Jeff,
shut up, Joe.
What is your assessment?
Your sarcasm bleeds through this channel.
I need this guy to come back, because I have had it with this Stephen A. Smith bullshit that's absolutely compounding on everything I go to when it comes to the Lakers. What is the hard on with this thing? Seriously, what is going on here? Why are people? He went over there, he talked to him for 2 seconds and left. Is the NBA that boring that we have to continue to talk about some guy talking to some other guy for 5 seconds and saying, "Hey, don't say this," and then leaving? Like, what's going on with this?
You know what, Joe? I'm just going to say this. My apologies, Jeff. If Joe, you and I were really, really hard, especially you got us banned on TikTok because of your Bronny videos. If he comes over and chews us out, that's just a father, you know, protecting his son. Does it change anything about our opinions or anything like? No, it doesn't. But you can at least understand why. And same thing with Stephen A. Smith. You know what? If you're going to call out Bronny like that, then be prepared. I don't think
LeBron would have came to me and talked to me like that. I have a feeling. I don't know why.
He is 6'8". 260. So he's taller than you. You're a good 6'3". I'll give you that. 6'3", 280. So.
Well, no, I would have been respectful. Honestly, I would not have. I would not have probably said anything. It's you can't. This is family stuff, dude. Somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, that hurt." That's my kid. I'd be like, shit. I get it. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have said anything. Now, the problem is the other idiot is going on a world tour and really soaking it up now. See, I would not have done that for sure. I would have said, look, he said he's pissed off at me for what I said about his kid. I'm leaving it at that. This is no different than anything that's happened in my time with people and family, guys. I when it comes to family, even if they're out of line, you have to kind of shut up. It's their kid, it's their family, it's their brother, it's their sister. Just shut the fuck up and just go away. That's what I've done in the past. It's just that's a different level of things. Let them do their thing. But anyways, Jeff, what if you had to guess? And I know you have some information sometimes that people don't have. I'm not asking for those sources, but I'm just asking, for what you think is going on here. But how soon do you think LeBron's going to be back? If you had to guess,
we'll know more in 24 to 48 hours. We'll know more. Outside of that, he did not go to Germany. He stayed with the team in Brooklyn, and when the team went to Milwaukee, he went to LA. So essentially what it was, and that is potentially good news because that could essentially might mean a ramp up if that goes well. So typically what happens is when they try to ramp things up, whether it's a setback or reevaluation or wherever the new terms that'll come out from. So I think we'll know more in the next 24 to 48 hours. And Shams is a Clutch guy. So if it was put out there, it's because Clutch wanted it out there. So they must feel a little bit about it, feel good about it. And, him coming home, getting, being around his own people, his own medical team that he has locally does not travel with him. So him being home, trainer, medical, all that here leads me to believe that he's feeling better. But he probably wants to get out there, put in some work where there's no one around, teammates can't leak anything, and he can see how he goes and kind of control the narrative. So 24 to 40 hours, we'll probably know more from what I get.
So the schedule right now is going to be, it's going to be really rough here the next couple games. I'm hoping for a 1-1. Milwaukee would probably be the most realistic one to win. The one in Denver, it's really hard to beat Denver twice in Denver, no matter how good the Lakers are. So I'm crossing my fingers that tomorrow they can escape with a win tomorrow and then play valiantly.
Denver may not have their guys, all of their guys either. They were down Gordon and then who else was down tonight? Porter played. There was two guys out tonight, right? It was Gordon and damn it, who was the other guy?
Because Gordon's out with that calf.
They're going to be down a couple guys too.
I'm going to say this until I see it. I'm going to assume those guys are going to come and play this Saturday because that's what always happens.
Well, LeBron's not playing. LeBron's not playing. It's a little different Laker coming to town situation. I agree with you, but this one might be slightly different.
Okay. No, well, that's what I'm saying is Denver seems to always, not Denver, any team that has a couple of their second, third stars injured for a week or two, all of a sudden end up miraculously playing.
You know why that is, right?
I mean, yeah.
You know why that is. It's not, yeah, there's this whole, the amount of DMs I got of the outrage of Boston playing their guys all of a sudden with the Lakers, not playing them before or after. I mean, it's not even a conspiracy. It's the league pressuring the teams. It's all it is. Can these guys play? If it was a playoff, could they play? Yes, then you better play them, right? Obviously, Porzingis was sick. He can't play. He didn't clear. But the other guys, the league was basically going to light them up if they didn't play. So they played. That's exactly all that is. So Denver, I don't think Denver is going to get the call if Brown isn't playing, that they have to play their guys.
That's a touchy subject. We talked a lot about this injury thing in sports in general and how medical staffs are as advanced as they ever been, and of course nutrition and all that. Yet apparently the plumbers and the what was it that JJ
firemen?
I remember plumbers. I don't know firemen, but then in the 90s, watered down. The watered down era of the 90s. That one is hilarious
right now. That's the thing right now. The 90s is a lie thing is like a thing right now for people that didn't grow up in it. That's like a thing right now. That people who watch YouTube think they know the game back then.
There was a very clear message that was sent when that was the discussion with the 90s. If you're not watching the player or the team live, you can never feel what the impact of that game was. It's easy to watch it after the fact, but what about when it's live? What about when it's not been done yet? It's a completely different feel. And if you didn't see it, you don't have any basis on what that really meant. And that's an easy one. It's an easy one to discuss whether people want to believe it or not. But I'm the Lakers do have a little bit of luck in that after these next two games, they are going to be home for a while. They're going to be home for about a week and change before they go on the road again to Orlando, Indiana, Chicago, and Memphis. And LeBron has been out in terms of days as of right now. He's been out
4.
It'll be 3 days tomorrow or 4 days tomorrow.
That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday,
4.
Wednesday, Thursday. So yeah, Thursday. And then 5. So he'll be out 5. I don't know, man. I mean, is it 7 to 10 days? You think it's 7 to 10 days or 7 to 10 games?
7 to 10 games was kind of the initial assumption.
Okay.
Sorry, 7 to 10 days. Did I say games or days? 7 to 10 days.
1 to 2 weeks was the.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's play it. Let's play it both ways. Let's play it both ways. Let's say it's 10 days. 10 days means he'll be back for the Denver game at home, which is actually not bad because they play San Antonio before that and then Phoenix. And Phoenix has been playing well, actually. But if they can squeak out a win in those two games at home, then you get LeBron on day 10 to play Denver. I think that might not be a bad thing. But if it's 7 to 10 games, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you're not going to see LeBron if it's 10 games until this Indiana game on the 26th of March.
Who's the game? Who's the game before Denver?
San Antonio.
All right, look for that one because typically they like to have like a
prep,
feel it out game, prep game, get out there before you go thrown into the fire against Denver. If everything goes well, then it's within the 7 to 10 day parameter. I would guess that it would be San Antonio would be the comeback game to kind of get right, get a feel, probably a minutes restriction, and then be ready for Denver if all things go well in that game. That would be my guess.
A good guess indeed. Gerald, what topic did you want to talk about after LeBron? I know you had mentioned something you wanted to discuss.
Well, who's coming back right now? If you want,
as far as the rest of the crew, right?
Yeah, as far as the rest of the crew, who is available right now? It looks like DFS will be the one that's coming back. According to the latest injury report, DFS is off the injury report at this time. Luka Doncic, eternally questionable. But unfortunately, you still see Rui, Jackson, and of course LeBron.
Does he really have a right ankle soreness? Is that, or is it? It's not his calf,
but on his back.
Okay.
Who knows at this point? You know, calves, ankle, his back was an issue because he fell hard in the New York game.
A right knee contusion, really?
Yeah, we elaborated on the right knee contusion. That bruise must be pretty nasty there, Jeff.
A bruise?
He's taken some, I don't know if you guys watched the last handful of games, but he's taken some pretty hard falls. And if you watch when he gets up, he's usually like kind of like screaming off to the side in pain. He's been roughed up a little bit. He's a tall guy, but he's not a really big guy. He's out there playing a lot of minutes as a primary big, and he's kind of getting bumped around a lot. So he's probably got a lot of little injuries that are piling up. But that
finding life as a starting center a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you get hit when you're a lob guy and you get those guys, those guys take shots at you, and he's hit the ground pretty hard, especially that last home game. I think there was like twice where he just hit the deck hard. And I think it's just kind of taking its toll on him.
Well, this is the first game against Milwaukee, and this could be, I don't want to say it's a must win, but it would be a confidence booster if they can somehow find a way to eke this one out, because it would give the Lakers a better shot at continuing to challenge the second or third seed. If they start losing these next couple games, 2, 3 games in a row, 4 games in a row, that chance of holding a 3 or 4 are going to start to get worrisome. Right now, they're sitting at 4,
Yeah.
but they are they are a game less in the loss column than Memphis and the Nuggets. And for me, that's the only stat that matters at this point, because the Lakers still have to play an extra game that they missed from the Fires, and they've played less games than they're by another game in terms of Memphis and Denver. So they have a little bit of wiggle room here to lose one more here in the next couple games, but I hope JJ Redick can do some things here in terms of his coach of the year candidacy. If he is able to right the ship with the guys he has right now, they're able to win games they're not supposed to win, and LeBron gets back and he's good, you might have, I think, the confidence and the team kind of hopefully going the rest of the way without any more issues is going to be pretty high. I think that this could be a blessing in disguise, in that the team ball movement, making shots, they were doing that in the first quarter against Brooklyn. I don't know what the hell happened in that second quarter, man. It was like watching a completely different team play, and it ended up costing them the game, and it shouldn't have, because they played even in the second half.
They took the foot off the gas. Essentially, what happened?
Why? And that's the thing is, why? What creates that foot off the gas in this moment when you know you don't have the full capacity of your team? Like, I understand if you're not injured, if you have all your guys there, you sometimes get, it might be on a long road trip or whatever. That's normal. But this, I don't understand how you can go up 15 points, killing these guys, making shots. You can't just sustain it for 3 more quarters without having to drop that much against a team that's lousy. But that's another shitty loss that they had there, because it could have really helped if they had won, because right now they'd be sitting at 2 games ahead of Memphis and Denver, and that would have been huge too, because now if they had lost to Milwaukee and Denver, they're still not in a bad spot. They're still even in the loss column until they get to LA and have that homestand. So, Joe Soro, if really MPJ and Aaron are injured, why we play Milwaukee game? I'm sorry, hold on a second, guys. If really MPJ and Aaron Gordon are injured, why we play Milwaukee? What is the? I'm sorry, Best League. I don't know what the hell you're saying there. Try to rewrite it and send it back to me. I was a big Timberwolf fan tonight. Anyone else? Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was a huge win. That was I wasn't
playing now with a lot of confidence.
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, that was a solid for us, considering that they just beat OKC.
And OKC let us down the other night, man. We needed that one. We needed that OKC win.
Yeah. If OKC had won and the Lakers had beaten Brooklyn, you'd be sitting at 3 games ahead of those guys. Now you're really starting to get comfortable. Although Memphis is starting to make a run. But worst case scenario, they have to, I think, for this thing to work the way I'm hoping it works, according to how they're set up right now, they have to get 1, 2, or 3, because I want to avoid OKC in the second round. That's what I want to do. I want to play OKC.
Don't forget Houston is set 1-4 in a row themselves as well.
Yeah, they're on a run here as well. I want 2 or 3. I want 2 or 3 because I want to play Oklahoma City if they were able to win the first and the second rounds to face OKC in the Western Conference Finals. Ideally, we'll see how that plays out. Joe Soro, Milwaukee game is back-to-back before Denver. I know. But see, the Lakers have been playing really well in the back end of back-to-back. LeBron's not going to be playing in this game.
When they have the whole team, yeah.
So they're going to have 3 right in a row, back-to-back, a back-to-back. And by the way,
a lot of that is because of the
Fires.
It's because of the Fires. They had to throw that San Antonio game in the middle of.
But they also moved over one. Was it the Denver game that they moved also a couple days as well, from the 18th to the 20th, I believe.
4 out of 5.
And they're also coming off 2 games, 2-day rest after the Brooklyn game before they go to Milwaukee. So it's not ideal. But
we need to rest at Milwaukee. What are you talking about, Best League? Rest what? What do
If
you want on
really
the rest?
Denver hasn't.
What is it with this rest shit? This is why these guys are probably not hardened throughout the year. Everything's a rest. These guys barely practice.
Maybe they're assuming maybe you don't have to. Maybe you can rest the guy if Denver's resting guys. I don't know.
No. There's a mentality that has to be built here, guys. Okay, they play hard and they lose. Fine. And sometimes we might even comment, "Oh man, they did all this for no reason." But in the end, it's actually bullshit. Are you here to play basketball? Or are you here to rest? Because you don't get hardened that way. And I'm not talking about James Harden either. Fuck him. Okay,
I'm talking about
either. You're not getting that focus. You guys saw The Last Dance. I'm going to mention this to you all. You remember how at the beginning, I think it was maybe episode 1 or 2, one of those episodes where they wanted to sit Jordan the year he broke his leg.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to sit him down likely because they wanted to get a higher draft pick and for whatever reason protect him, right? I mean, the doctors are saying he's good, 90%, right? But they were like, well, 10% is too much of a risk. And he's like, fuck that. I know what you guys are doing. You guys are trying to lose so you can get more draft picks. No, that creates a bad precedent, wanting to lose. Jeff, remember I told you, and Gerald, I told you guys this, 17, I hadn't missed a Laker game in a decade. I had missed a Laker game in a decade. 10 fucking years. That's a generation, right? At least that's what I think it is.
It's an NBA generation.
I couldn't, right? I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish that year off. The losing was eating at my innards. Couldn't handle it. It built that, even though they had to probably do that because they were up shit creek. It sets a bad precedent. It sets bad just overall juju. You're just wanting to lose, and you embed a loser mentality in the entire thing. And I'm just not with it. Go ahead, Gerald.
I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this because I kind of disagree with it. Best leagues, but I do appreciate Best League being here. Thank you for being here. Joe Soros, I'm thinking long-term, just focused on playoffs. No difference between the 2 to 6 seed. Just a home advantage in the first round. I kind of disagree. Being in the second seed would be ideal.
Yeah, you get the number 2.
Get them at that.
Here's the thing. If you get the number 2 seed, you play at home through round 1 and 2. And if you guys have heard me before, you know I'm not too hyped on OKC. I don't think they make it to the Western Conference Finals. So if you're the number 2 seed, you have a chance to have home court throughout the Western Conference playoffs.
And if OKC gets upset, Jeff, what happens?
You have home court advantage throughout the whole Western Conference playoffs, like I said. So, which they could. Doesn't mean that just because you get the number 2 seed doesn't mean you can't get upset either, right? But at the same time, 2 through 6 is the last couple of years it felt a little different. This year, I think 1, 2, and 3 are going to be a little different than 4, 5, 6. Whereas the last couple seasons, like 2 to 6, probably didn't really matter. I think it does this year.
It did for Memphis the year they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah. So I think we're talking about the schedule here and how to make it through. Why this Milwaukee Bucks game is so important, because you got 2 at Denver coming up and a game with Memphis coming up. Guys that are directly in your rear view or in front of you that you have to play in order to kind of hold on to second or third. So this Milwaukee game is important. All these games are important. Milwaukee and Denver are important. So you can't sit anyone because you have to win in Milwaukee to keep pressure on Denver and Memphis and Houston. And you got to hope to beat them when you play them. So you damn sure ain't going to rest against Milwaukee when you already got Braun out, you got Rui out, and you got Hayes out. You got to have a fighter's chance. Now, if you're getting blown out by 30 going into the second half, then okay, maybe you wave the flag. But you got to send your guys out there. You got to send a message. That's if you're a team that's kind of been thrusted into quote unquote competitor talk, right? Then you have to show your team you're all in. You can't be doing this stuff. And 2 to 6 is a big difference.
One thing though?
Yeah.
May I just add one thing? That the Lakers have the second best home record in the Western Conference at 25.
That's a big one.
They played definitively better at home than on the road this season.
They do. And when they've gotten better on the road is when their defense picked up, right? So, but they need all their guys to play defense. So the Lakers had a very as typical because they have a very backloaded schedule, right? On road games. So they have a very home heavy schedule out the gate mostly. So those kind of numbers get skewed a little bit, but they balance out later on. But you can't sit against teams when you're in a race. You have a chance at the number 2 seed. And if you asked yourself before the season start, Joe, Gerald, chat, if you asked yourself at any point in the summer, if you had asked yourself any time in October, November, December, if you had asked yourself in any of those months, anything prior to January 1st, let's go back, anything prior to the DFS trade, because that's kind of the timeline, right? If you would have asked yourself at any point prior to that, if you felt in your heart of hearts, or would you had put money that the Lakers had a chance at the number 2 seed in the Western Conference this year, I don't know anyone who would have said yes, right? And now the fact that you actually have that as a reality, you cannot take your foot off the gas. And like Gerald said, the Lakers can be dominant at home against good teams, against bad teams. They've had bad losses at home. They've had great wins on the road. They've had both scenarios. But when this team is healthy, and hopefully come playoff time or down the stretch, they will be, these games, that Charlotte game, that Utah game, that Miami game early in the season, a lot of these games that you blow, they've already blown games that could cost them later. They cannot risk giving away other games. So I disagree that between 2 and 6 doesn't matter. I think that between 6 and 10 might not matter. Did not shuffle there, but 2 through 6 definitely matters.
Damn right.
Joe?
We discussed the championship seeding since 1990 in its current seeding, minus the first round being best of 5, so which changed in 2003. There's no team that's won a championship as a 5th seed, a 7th, or an 8th. There's been one that won as a 6th, and that was the 95 Rockets.
Rockets, how about to say it?
That's it. Everyone else that's won a championship is either a 1 or a 4 seed.
And then those 95 Rockets was a team that had already won a championship the year before, so they had the pedigree.
There's a lot of weird things that happened in 95. If you look at how they even won the title, they swept a team at home. That never happens. No team sweeps a team and finishes it at home. It's very, very, very. I mean, I can't remember the last time a finals team swept at home. It's usually on the road because usually they're the better team.
The home court, yeah, the home court, yeah.
So that 90 and
Magic just fell apart in after game 1.
Yeah, Nick Anderson. That team was. I hate that I have to bring this up, but that series is one of the reasons why when I hear people say, "Oh, Shaq carried Kobe in those 3 championships," I always point to Shaq's deficiencies. Not just that year. That was just the biggest year he screwed up. But Shaq had a habit of getting swept a lot.
Multiple times.
And that's a leadership thing. That's a leadership thing. That's trying to get your people like focused on stuff. I don't want to say Shaq quit, but it looked like he quit. It looked like he didn't do anything to get everybody out of that funk. Getting swept and you're the most dominant player in the league, it's not a good look, guys.
He got swept his first 3 years as a Laker, right?
San
Antonio, Utah.
No, he got swept. One was in 5. He got swept by the Spurs in 99. He got swept by the Utah in 98, but he went to 5 in 97 against Utah.
Well, so 96 with the Lakers. So I thought he got swept more than once.
Well, he came in 96, but that was technically the 97
season. Playoffs. 97,
so they went
98,
5,
99.
That was the infamous airball Kobe series. But they went 5 games in 97 against Utah. They got swept in 98.
Gotcha.
And then got swept
by the Spurs.
By the Spurs in 99. Before then, he got swept by Indiana in the first round. His second year in Orlando, got swept by the Bulls in 96 when he was in Orlando.
And got swept by the Rockets in 95.
And then got swept by so he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then didn't they get swept this last year in Miami in 07?
Yeah, did they not get swept in 2003 by the Spurs? Did they win a game against the Spurs?
No, that was a 6-game series.
Okay. So I'm trying
to that series was a disheartening loss because Ori had an open 3 that went in and out in game 5. He hits that shot. The Lakers likely win that series in 6, and they 4-peat.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, you're right. Because the Detroit was in 5. That if not for a miraculous Kobe shot, they get swept in that series.
Yeah. But that one I
2003 for
wouldn't
some
say
reason
was his fault. That was in Kobe.
that wasn't Kobe's best.
Kobe admitted that he cost the Lakers the series.
He was just jacking up
Yeah.
shots. But
Good game plan by Larry Brown, though. He said, and a lot, just like how Boston hounded Kyrie Irving on offense.
yeah.
They did that to, and they let Luka get his points. Luka averaged 30 points in the finals last year, but they shut down Kyrie and he didn't do shit. It was similar to kind of how Kobe was handled in that series.
But that game plan would not have mattered if that team wasn't on at the end of its run. That game plan wouldn't matter. If they faced a 2000, 2001, or 2002 Lakers, that game plan would have just been bulldozed. It's just that team was at the end of a run. That team imploded. That's the only reason they lost that series.
Yeah, I still think that when you have Kobe in his prime and Shaq in his prime still, you should win that series. Those guys should have found a way to make it work.
They should have, but imploded.
I know. And that's when we talk about the over discussed greatest here, greatest there. There's so many. I've seen all these series and all these games. There hasn't been a NBA Finals I've missed since 1991, and most of the series in the East and West, I've seen a lot of those games as well. A lot of those great series. There's the finals is Carnegie Hall for a comic. That's the. It doesn't matter if that comic sucked at the Comedy Store, a couple times. No one remembers that shit. Did you hit? Did you hit in the biggest stage? Did you hit when you did your HBO show? Things like that. And the reason why there's so much value in that series at the end is because that is ultimately what matters. If you lose in the first round, you lose in the second round, okay. Well, Joe, what about the other 9 times he didn't make it to the finals? No, it has nothing to do with that. That's not very realistic. No player, other than Bill Russell, got close. He played 13 years, went to the finals 12 times, missed one. And in those 2 losses, he lost to the St. Louis Hawks. I think it was in 1957. And then he lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to Wilt when Wilt was on another level in 67. So,
side note, real quick, are you watching? But it has a historian of the game, the Celtic show that's on HBO, the Celtic City one, the documentary one.
I went through it today when I was looking at the Kobe one, and I was like, do I really want to watch this shit?
I'm gonna watch it. I caught a glimpse of it partial earlier when I came in. It was just on the scene where they were saying that Bill Russell said, "I don't play for Boston. I play for the Celtics." Like, I just had him just digging at like how much he hated Boston, and we know why. But yeah, I'm gonna watch it though. I just want to see if I'm gonna watch it.
And that is why Boston is Boston. See, Boston is full of elitists, and because it's Ivy League school or high education heavy area, and I don't know why a shithole takes precedent over the highly educated. But I also am familiar with people who I've known who were from there, because a lot of people that I went to college with, what happens a lot of times is those guys out in the East Coast, they want to get as far away as possible, so they go the furthest way they can, which is from Boston to Southern California, right? So I had a lot of friends that were Boston people, fraternity brothers, and from Boston. And while we didn't really go into the depths of the culture there, the chatters take a lot of the just like Italians. Like Italians, there's like 5,000. There's 5,000 Italians that are up to no good. I'll just put it that way, and that has judged every Italian away from that, right?
The Dodger fans, right? How they're labeled by numbskulls, right?
They're labeled by the fucknuts that beat people up in the parking lot. By the way, thanks Frank McCourt for doing nothing with security still after all these years of owning the parking lot. I hope you fucking die. And I mean that, by the way. He's a piece of shit.
Best wishes, Joe Soro.
Double
no, I'm serious. Fuck him. Seriously, fuck him.
Triple
I'm so sick of that piece of shit.
He's still going. One more time for the people. One more dig. Just, I mean, one
No.
more, right? I mean,
I think that was it. I think that.
Are you sure you got one
Oh,
more?
no, there's
I
probably
got
there's
one.
plenty
I'll
more.
say
I'm
it
sure there's
when we go to the game here in a few weeks. I'll shout it
at the end. Don't get us kicked out, Joe. Now don't get us TikToked like you did on TikTok. Wait till the end. You need to be on your best behavior.
When I'm in public, I'm a little different.
Okay.
He was.
I got a little history
is,
that
Jeff.
stadium. I got to behave.
When I'm in public, I have respect for the public. I will say what I say on our show. This is my.
But I can vouch
now.
for it. I can vouch for Jeff. We have met in public, and he was very gracious to my family. So.
And I'll tell you guys right now, there have been things in the past where I've said stuff in public, and it scared the shit out of me, and I've never done it since. Okay.
What did it do to the other person?
Well, the other person. So, okay, since you guys asked, I'm going to tell you a quick story. So,
story time with Joe Soro.
I was in transportation back in the day, and I was relieving a shuttle driver, and that was his route. He was one of those guys that liked routine. The guy was there for 4 years doing the same routine back and forth, right?
Joe was a mule, by the way, for those who aren't picking up what's going on here. But transportation, just like Soprano was in sanitation. But go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't doing anything bad. That's not. I would never live that lifestyle, anyways. I can't look over my shoulder 24 hours a day. It's exhausting. I already do it anyways, but I know there's no one back there, right? It's just I'm looking for the random ones. But I loved my boss. The boss was he was the smartest dumb guy I've ever met in my life, but I had a lot of loyalty to him. And the dumb part about him was he was so knowledgeable. He was so tapped in. He had such a huge network. His wife was this destination whiz and all this stuff. He had all these opportunities to be bigger than what he was. But I remember one of my mentor, who's still like my big brother, Vinny. Vinny used always to call me Joey, cop from Florida and all that stuff. And he's like, Joey, Billy's afraid of success. And I'm like, okay, kind of felt bad for him too, because he was such a good guy. But anyways, so Bill hits me up. He goes, Joe, I need you to go relieve relieve Frank for an hour because he's doing whatever, right? And I just happened to be around the airport at that time. I was like, yeah, no problem. So I went over there, and apparently I got there too early. I've never been yelled at for being somewhere too early, right? And he didn't really yell at me. He kind of winced at me and said, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm here to relieve you for. I was like, nobody told me you were coming. Nobody told me you were coming here early. And he walked off. And there was like a person in the van that was coming out. And I'm like,
just the arrival of Joseph made this man livid, just so you guys know.
So I'm fuming. He got in, he did whatever, and then he was going to go back and pick up the next crew. And for it's a 15-minute turnaround. I was like, God, please don't let anyone be in that van. Please don't let anybody be in that van. Because the second that motherfucker comes out of that fucking door, I'm going to fucking ream his ass. I'm looking as he's driving in. I'm like, ooh, I can see no one's in the van. So as soon as he fucking parks, he comes out of the car. I'm like, what the fuck was that? How the fuck did you yell at me like this? Don't ever fucking yell at me like that again. Don't, the whole thing. And he's like, don't talk to me like that. I'm like, I'm going to talk to you however I want to talk to you. You don't talk to me like that in front of a guest. Who's in the truck? Who's in the van? Like I was belligerent.
He just took himself back there right now. You see the eyes? You saw the eyes?
I finish that last line and he starts crying. And now I'm like this. And I remember Amber saying, I'm sorry, not Frank. It was Bob. Sorry, not Frank. It was Bob. I remember Amber. She works the desk at the hotel that we used to station at. She goes, I wouldn't be surprised if Bob was on a roof with a gun. I remember her saying that like a year earlier. And I was like, come on, Amber. It clicked. And he was going to go have lunch, I think at the Red Lobster or some shit. That's what was over there. I'm like, and for his 30-minute break or whatever the hell it was, I'm driving these people back and forth, right? Waiting for him to come back so he, I be done relieving him. And I'm going, did I just kill people? Did this set him off? Like I was fucking scared to shit. And of course I was expecting my boss Bill to call. And of course I get the call. Bill had a very unique voice. He's like, Joe, what the hell happened? I'm like, Bill, I'm sorry. He's like, Joe, you know no one can do this job, right? You know I got to go find somebody that will sit there for 8 fucking hours every day for the next 50 years, and they're going to complain every 5 minutes. This guy doesn't complain. Come on, Joe. No, you should know. I said, Bill, I swear to you, I'll handle this. I fucked up. I'm sorry. I will take care of this for you. Don't worry. I'm worried. I want to take care of Bill's situation. I don't want to fuck his shit up, but I'm also scared to death. I didn't tell him that. I'm like, I'm scared to death. This guy might have went and shot somebody for all I know. Luckily, 30 minutes passes. He comes back, and I can see he didn't kill anybody, thank God. And I apologize to him reluctantly. In my head, I'm like, fuck this guy. This guy should be eating my shoe right now, but I'm going to save it for my guy, my boss, and make sure this fucker doesn't, go home and beat his wife or some shit. So, and he wasn't like demonstrative. He was like Mr. Rogers. But those are the ones that you have to worry about, right? Like Jeffrey Dahmer shit. So I apologized to him. Hey, man, I know this is your gig. I'm sorry I came early. I should have done this, blah, blah, blah. Totally bullshitted everything I said to him. He shook my hand. He kind of gave me kind of like a good look, like, thank you. I appreciate you, apologizing. And I got the fuck out of there. I never relieved him again. So, yeah, that changed my entire life that day. First of all, when he started crying, and the other being scared that he was going to go off somebody. So I don't do shit in public. I don't do shit in public. It's always kind of been scarred in my head, because when I react in public, it's not good.
You won't like him when he's angry.
It's not good. There's people that actually are worried, and I could be just yelling because I want to yell. Anyways, that's the story. I did yell at in a Wells Fargo bank once, but that was different.
I remember that.
They deserve.
I remember that. Yeah,
yeah. That one was probably my favorite. That was my favorite one, because I had committed that I was going to
jail.
It
echoes there. It echoes.
It does, and I was committed
yes.
to go to jail. I was committed to go to jail that day. I was so fucking pissed at that bank. Fuck Wells Fargo too, by the way. Forever.
Local man arrested over a 3-cent discrepancy on his statement.
3 cent? No, it was $39 for overdraft and $39 for what was it? Oh, overdraft, and then there was no money in the account, something like that, some bullshit like that. By the way, folks, I closed the account, but they reopened it without telling me. Anyways, I'm pretty good with money, so I don't know what the fuck was going on there. But anyways, back to the Lakers. Sorry, guys, I had to kind of skew into this so you guys could kind of maybe be a little.
That's okay. It's just interesting to see you get those bug eyes, like
the eyes.
If you see in the lower right, the subscribe button is actually Joe with those same eyes when I told him that the Lakers were rumored to get Nerlens Noel in the team.
Probably my least favorite player of the last 15 years.
And he went like this.
Who was it? It wasn't you who said it. It was. Wasn't
me.
it Laker Tom?
No.
Or did you say that Laker Tom wanted Nerlens Noel?
Yes. Yeah, I think it was Laker Tom wanted Nerlens Noel on the team.
Yeah, that was terrible. And the thing is, Sean clicked on it right away. Like, he started busting up laughing. I didn't notice it because I was looking at you guys.
Just like for a second, you're like
it was instant. Yeah, I was like, yes. No.
The large Marge eyes, yeah.
We talked about the hot dog at we talked about the hot dog at halftime and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so Jeff, don't worry. Okay, I'm a controlled hothead. I'm like a hot air balloon.
I talk a lot of shit, so but I can take it. So when I talk shit, and people fire back. So I'm
I'll tell you what. If somebody tries to get, I'm
different. I mean, if someone puts hands, that's a self. I'm talking like just talking trash back and forth is like it's a ball game. I'm out there it's friendly. Like I don't cross the line. Sometimes they do, and then I gotta get a little make it a little bit more darty, right? But with me, if I'm sitting in the section, there's a lot of kids around, then I'm like, I'm not gonna escalate this.
Don't cuss.
I don't.
Yeah, don't cuss in front of the children. I know that I would never go to a Philly game.
Oh my God, Philly. Philly. For those who have never been to Philly is its is its own separate entity of the world. Philly. Have you ever been to Philly, Joe?
I've been to Philly, but I've never
No.
been to a Philly game because I knew I wouldn't. I knew I
Henry
was.
just went there. He went there for the playoff game.
Who? I didn't hear the name.
Henry, one of our
Oh,
one of
gotcha.
our guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Philly is
he stops
Philly.
by the show every now. Yeah, he
People
was in the Philly
from
game.
Philly are just different. Women from Philly are completely different. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different world.
Women in Philly mimic a lot of the women in Southie. They're rough.
They're rough, tough. They are very rough. And just some free advice. Stay away from women from
And
Philly.
by the way, the Oakland LA Raider atmosphere, I've been to those games. I've physically been in those games. I've been in LA Memorial Coliseum. I've been to Oakland Coliseum a few times. I got along with Raider fans. And Oakland Coliseum was one of the best stadiums to get in and out of ever. I could park on the street. I could park in the street, walk to the stadium, go in the stadium, watch the game, leave, get in my car, get on the freeway within 10 minutes, if that. It was a very underrated stadium, underrated area, and that's one of the things I miss about kind of old school stadiums is that they made them for the ball game. They didn't make it for all the bullshit that they do now with making sure you're yeah, exactly. And yeah, the Raider experience was never a bad one for me. Matter of fact, the worst experience was San Francisco. San Francisco, Candlestick Park was a shithole. It was like the West Coast version of Philly, except the people weren't as bad as Philly, but the amenities and just the overall just feel of that whole area was just shit.
Oracle's better. I think Candlestick was disastrous. I went there as a kid. Disastrous.
Yeah, it's shit, and it pissed me off too because I'd get there and I'd be in shorts. I remember I used to have my favorite outfit. It was a Dodgers shorts and Dodgers shirt. It'd be piss hot,
and then
where I was in Central Valley, we drive over there, and that was before you could just check the weather like you do now. You get over there, it's fucking 40 degrees. I'm like, fuck, I'm freezing
by the water. So it gets.
Yeah, I saw so many games there. I saw so many games in A's games as well. It was a good experience in the end, though. I'm not trying to dog on everything. It was good. You know, I saw Steeler games there. It was raining. Vietnam rain one time when me and Pops went there for a Steeler-Niner game. We had to leave early. It was the only game I left early in my life because I'm sitting there and it was like I went into the pool. That's how much it was raining. And my dad was like, dude, get up. We're leaving. You're going to catch pneumonia. I can't do this. So we bounced. And it was always something with Candlestick Park. It was always something with that place. The last time I was there, it was a Monday night game, Steelers, Niners. I think it was the year they went to the Super Bowl. The lights went out twice. So, yeah, it's always something.
Did you ever go to the sports arena?
Yeah.
That place was disastrous too. But Candlestick, dude, like you could get hurt at the sports arena if you weren't paying attention. Not for people. I'm just saying structurally. Like it was that place.
Yeah, it's been
trash.
I went there a couple times. I've been to everything in Southern California. I've been everywhere in Southern California, even the old sports arena where Magic's first game was in San Diego. And yeah, it's a, I don't know, man. There's some elegance to the old ways of things, but you know, nothing lasts forever, I guess. But the Bills Mafia is the craziest fan base. Crazy in a good way. I actually really like Bills fans. They're similar to Steeler fans. They're very passionate and they're desperate for something too. It's I feel bad for them. I was really
they're tolerable though. They're definitely tolerable.
Oh yeah, Bills Mafia. Oh yeah, no. They're
sure.
good. They're good. Even the Cleveland guys and the Cincinnati people. Like as much as there's a rivalry there, even Baltimore. There's not really a lot of. It's not Philly. It's not a Philly fan base over there. They're just Philly's just a different beast, man. They're freaking. Not good. Okay. We talk enough about this stuff, guys? Oh, that it is the Nightcap. It is the Nightcap. Over the place. It is the Nightcap. That's what we do here, Jeff. This is the Nightcap. And the new show coming. You You've heard the new name, right? I sent it to you.
You sent me 75 names.
Did I? You didn't get the last one? The Joe
I was in
Soro
the car
experiment.
after 37, and
The Joe Soro experiment is coming, and it's spelled with an O and X at the beginning of experiment. So just know that's what's coming. Yeah. I thought I'd throw that little extra thing in there. What was that?
I was just saying you've been warned.
Yeah. We'll see how long I last. I don't have somebody to back me up like G, so we'll see. I'm a nonconformist in societal terms. It's probably why I've been by myself. For the better part of 10 years here in my life.
Watch out, Mr. Beast.
Isn't he buying a team or something?
He tried. He's tried to buy a lot.
How much money does that fucker have?
He got a lot.
All from this YouTube shit?
Well, not just YouTube, but because of YouTube. Sponsors.
Yeah. Really buying a team?
Yeah.
You excited, G, for the A's coming to Vegas? They got a $1.75 billion facility being built here, right? Right in the middle of the strip.
Team's starting to spend money now too.
What a waste of our money. Waste of our money bringing the A's here.
I don't think.
But at least I'll get a lot of comps. That's all I'll say.
I don't think it's a waste, dude. I think they're going to be good.
They're already starting to. The A's over years have found ways to be good without even spending.
Like I'll get a lot of spending money. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably go there just to check out a game.
All right, make sure you get the comps when the Dodgers in town. So
since you're not interested.
No, those are the only ones that will be sold out. Everything else, like Yankees, Dodgers, will be sold out. Everything else, they'll probably they'll float.
I'll go to Vegas to boo the Padres. I mean,
I see.
I'll go there to boo Boston.
Well, it's just like the Raiders games, Jeff, because I went to 3 during the course of last season. For the most part, the other team, Pittsburgh was 70% of the entire stadium.
Yeah. Well, they travel well. That happens
when
they came here too.
The Falcons, because I'm assuming because Atlanta's the hub for easy flights and all that. But that was like half and half. It just every time you go there, they're outnumbered. Whatever experience you had at Oakland Memorial Coliseum is not the same. It's pasteurized. It's homogenized.
It's not just going to a Falcon games on the road. You're going to Las Vegas, so it makes it like easier to go see your team and have a weekend, right? So it makes it work a lot better. But the same thing we're here at SoFi. When the Cowboys come to SoFi or the Niners come to SoFi, like they overtake. There's too many people in LA who have fans of other teams because of the gap, right? Of how long they weren't here.
No one here in the city wants the A's. 805. Sorry, I hate to enlighten you again. Nobody in the city. The mayor didn't even want this team.
Why?
Okay.
No, I'm serious. I want to know why. Why didn't the mayor want it?
Why would you want the perennial horrible worst team in the major leagues as far as how they were run, I understand that they're changing. I understand that they're putting more money into it now because that's great. But still, nobody in this town is excited for them. No one.
Vegas. I know Vegas will always be the gambling capital of America, right?
But they like it. You don't understand.
But are they trying to transition, G?
Are they are transitioning. But hold on, the Raiders haven't been well ran for a long time.
And now they're the 8th. What are they? The 8th most valuable NFL team after they were in the low 20s for years.
I think the
Golden Knights run this town. The Golden Knights are this town. And whenever we get a expansion team, because it's Vegas grown, they'll embrace it.
That's not it, G. Yeah. That's not it. There's some truth to that because it is.
I've been here to Vegas since 95.
You're right. You're right because it is homegrown, but. Yes. Golden Knights have been winning nonstop since the beginning. That plays a big part too.
Yes, that helped from the get-go.
If Vegas gets a franchise,
they embraced them, Joe. I was here when they came here. They embraced.
But the winning is what helped too. If the Raiders get a franchise QB and they start winning, like I'm not going to say like KC, but let's say
it's a natural thing. People pile like you guys have seen, like Dodgers hats come out
really on a Thursday, on a Wednesday. Really, you're doing this to me now?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, you see it. You guys see it. Everybody popped out their Dodgers hat.
What's the reward?
the real Dodgers fans that got nothing but respect.
Well, I will say, Gerald, there are a lot of suffering Dodger fans. Dodgers have a pretty strong fan base, even when they weren't.
They've always had.
Yeah,
sure. You got to admit there's a few that.
But there are new visitors. There are new people trying to enter. There are people who don't know think about baseball entering the content space just because of popularity of the sport, and they butcher it, right? And then you have people who know the game entering, which is helping spread the game, right? So it's baseball in general, and the Dodgers in general is there are more people attached to it now for sure. But they've always led the league in attendance even when they weren't good. They've always had the draw. I do believe. I think the knock on the A's is a little bit unfair. That team with some of the lowest payroll you ever seen was good a lot of times. And then every time it came up to having to pay one of the players, they would jettison them, right? They couldn't generate any revenue there. Now this new owner's a douche. He's not he can still mess this up, but and Billy Bean's not there, right? Rest in peace to Billy Bean. But it is going to be an interesting when it gets out there. But I think the A's are going to surprise some people. Now they're spending. They got some good young players.
I'm not talking about the team. I'm just talking about the acceptance by the city. No one in the city wanted the A's. I can tell you right now, I still go around the city. I see no A's bumper stickers.
Well, they're not there yet.
Or
they're not there.
A's license plates or A's anything right now. Paraphernalia in the city right now.
I'll tell you this though, I can't speak because it's an outdoor sport. Obviously, I can't speak to what the Little League is like in Vegas. I can speak to what basketball is.
It's good. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So that alone is going to be the baseball culture alone. Having a local team, if it's big out there and you got a local team now, that's going to help. I would feel like it's safe to assume that there are a ton of Dodger fans in Vegas. I would assume, just like
that is the most popular. That's the most popular. I mean, we have Dodger store right there on Fashion Show Mall in Las Vegas. Yeah. There's a huge Dodger store.
There's like I always say, even if you put an NBA team in Vegas, it's the Lakers market still.
It's still the Lakers.
The Lakers aren't losing market share. I don't care what it is. Like it's not. They're not going to overtake them, and the A's won't overtake the Dodgers. But maybe a younger generation growing up and now as a team to watch. Who knows? But it's going to take some time. But I get what you mean about no one.
But I'm just telling you guys the facts that we always don't welcome
FACTS or is it FAX?
FACTS. Oh, here we go. Intel Wild.
What did he donate? Oh shit!
He just dropped 100.
I can't do so. That's
I'll be right back.
I can't. I'll be right back.
Yeah, he'll probably do 2 for you in that.
Yeah, I owe Joe one because I always get presented with this on nights where I gotta get behind the wheel, so I can't.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it either. But Intel, thank you again. Very blessed that you did that. Truly appreciate it. Joe will be back. He's going to grab the booze now.
I'm no stranger. Chris is in here. Chris can back me up. Chris knows what's up.
I'm not against
drinking.
I had Mission 24 drop 50 yesterday, Jeff, because he wants me to get a Maxi Kleber jersey if Maxi Kleber becomes a contributor in the playoffs. And I'm just like,
contributor, like not just on the roster, but actually contribute.
Actually contributing. And I'm
Do you think he will? Do you think he will? Is that because you don't think he will?
No, I don't think he, because he look at the kind of season he had before he got hurt. He was miserable. And, you see the past 5 seasons for him, Jeff, and he has just been struggling just to stay on the court. But if you get the guy that can still hit, maybe his career average is 35% from 3. If he could do that, I'm not asking for 40%, 42%. Yeah. If he could even just do that and get
he's going to be rested.
He's going to be rested. But let's say he gets 15 minutes a game. If he can get you 7 and 5 during his stint and not be killed on the defensive end and be posted up or hunted every single time down, I think that's a win for the Lakers.
He's another guy that teams have to focus on in the corner, right? So that alone opens up the middle a little bit. if he can get out there. I'm not convinced he can. It's kind of like Gabe last year, Gerald. He came back, and it's just when you miss that much time, it's really hard to.
Exactly.
We've seen it before. We've seen it before. Yeah. Derek Fisher, remember? I think what was that 2001 or 2002 when he broke his foot? Was out most of the season, and he came back playing like an all. That was probably the best stretch of his Laker career when I'm talking about overall games, not playoff moments. When he left the Lakers and was a Golden State and Utah, he had more scoring games. But as far as like a stretch as a starting player for the Lakers during the regular season, that he just jumped in and jumped out. That was his.
No, I jumped him in there. I thought he was ready.
Gotcha.
That was his. The glasses.
That was his best stretch. So I don't any stretch of the word expect that from Maxi Kleber, but if we get it, it only helps our chances. It's one of those situations where you would love to buy the jersey, right? you would love to.
I want to be proven wrong. But I see in our chat yesterday, and it's been the past few days, it's like, oh, I can't wait till Maxi Kleber gets back. And it's like, you've seen this on your show. There's that base. Before you go ahead, Joe, let me finish this, and I'll come back.
No, you're done.
Shut up. It's just that there's this part of our communities that just will take whatever back end of the roster player, or what player that's been gone a long time, and it's like, I can't wait till this person comes back because they're going to make a big contribution. It's like, I don't want you guys setting that person up for failure.
The amount
more times than not, they will let you down.
Tristan Thompson, Dwight Howard, Lonnie Walker, the Stanley Johnson one. I want to put my face through the monitor. And
he came back to the G League. He came back to the South Bay Lakers.
And
it's no first round pick for him.
Yeah, and it's no shade to him. I'm rooting for. I hope he gets back to the league. I hope, but my beef isn't with Stanley Johnson. It's with the people who have this ridiculous amount of pressure that they're putting on him. He's going to come in and save a team. You know what I mean? Like it's absurd. Like it's nothing against him. I like him, but I don't see how he can impact this team. Right? You know what I mean? But it's just always these names that they hold on to, and they forget that they ran JaVale McGee out of town his last turn here. They forget how bad Dwight was in 2022, and it's 3 years later. They forget that
they
Tristan
still
Thompson
mentioned Dwight this week.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson had a 90-second stretch when our season was over, and now how many times has he been busted for performance enhancing to get 3 points? I mean, no. I mean, let it go. Let it go. Like
let it slide. Just another homicide.
Nothing. Like not those guys aren't. What's one of the greatest rants ever? I was just talking to someone the other day who knows Patino, and that was still one of the Larry Bird is not walking through that door. Kevin McHale is not walking through that door. Like one of those. It's like, Stanley Johnson is not walking through that door. The fact you got to put these players in the same sentence as Hall of Famers is crazy, right? But you're right, Gerald. They hold on to these end of the bench Cinderella story guys, and I understand why people are rooting for these guys. I want these guys to be able to provide for their families and have a chance at things, but acting like they can come in and change our fortunes is bananas to me.
I remember the months leading up to before he came onto the team when he was with New York, and then he got traded to Portland. Cam Reddish. Oh, dude!
Oh my God!
They wanted Cam Reddish, man.
Yeah, no.
Did you see him on Twitter? That's all I heard for months before and then it's like, the Lakers got Cam Reddish. Now, almost 2 seasons in, it's like Cam Reddish.
I went on a little bit of a Cam Reddish rant, like on Twitter, like before we got him, and then while we had him, and while he was starting, and all and it's never against the player, it's against the people. You're right there, Joe. Yeah. Yeah, you right there?
This rum is hitting weird tonight.
You just look like you kissed a drunk trunker woman. Look like over there, he's like on his face. No matter
how drunk I am, I'm not hitting.
Yeah, no. What was I gonna tell you? It's not the player's fault. It's fans who have these like unrealistic expectation on these journeyman players that all of a sudden are going to turn into something mega.
Yeah, I hear you. By the way, it is going to be retractable at the stadium out there, guys. I know that Hustler was just mentioning in the chat. He was asking. Yeah, there's no way in 120-degree heat that they're going to leave that sucker open.
And a guy in Vegas named Hustler will know.
Hustler.
The Hustler's right down the street.
Hustler, baby. Yeah.
Right down the street from Legion Stadium, actually.
Very excited for it,
Right
Gerald.
off the I-15.
I can't wait to see.
You're excited for the stadium?
No, the best part's going to be you're going to get a deal for $49.99 at, let's say, I don't know, the Win, and the resort fees will be $450.
$400. Yes, exactly. Yep.
And then I'm going to go. And I'm going to leave it there.
Something they should ban. They should ban resort fees, and that they should also get rid of blackouts for sports games entirely.
I think Manfred's trying to figure that out.
Done. One conversation with the FCC. Just done.
How much are they going to pay the FCC to do that?
It's just stupid.
You know those guys are money whores, don't you?
This time it's archaic, Joe. It's from a bygone era.
Yeah. So is the Federal Reserve. But that's a different subject. We're not going to talk about that tonight. By the way, Jeff, why are you why have you flipped? Why am I seeing the A in front of the L?
You jumped out of the plane, and so you exited stage left. Which
is that what it is?
Right? Yeah. So you bailed, and now the deck has been there. We go. Now I'm on the other side. The deck has been.
Jeff, just one. He's just one shot already.
He's already playing with.
I took two.
You took two. Oh well, there you go.
I have time to do it in 20 minutes, but I'm trying to get it over with quick. I'm doing the third right now.
How can we ban Joe from drinking shots until Wild if you keep compensating?
The life of Joe Soro. But on that note,
if I was dead.
No, I'm gonna have to head out, guys. I gotta get out of here.
TikTok did that. Yeah.
It's not a real.
It's still a short on YouTube that I moved it from public to members only. But yeah, TikTok.
Joe was raging.
Shut down my channel. It was a Bronny.
Almost worth it.
Good one too.
Almost worth it. Yeah.
Almost.
But on that note, I got to take off, guys. But I appreciate you guys having me on, Joe. And don't wake up on the couch with the TV like on a questionable
the
channel.
TV shuts off after 4 hours. I'll be good.
Safe driving out there, Jeff. And
you got to go pick up the wife, right?
Yeah, I got to head out.
Okay.
Yeah. So
all right.
Y'all have a good night. Safe night.
Have a good night.
I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Later, Jeff. Bye.
Be safe. All right.
Okay.
Support Empire Jeff on his channels.
Yes, guys. We'll be doing a lot more shows together, especially once the experiment starts. And greatest moment of my life was having a thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. By the way, Chris, the art director, guys, one of the greatest hosts I've ever had in my life. I went to Camelback, where the Dodgers and the White Sox hold court or hold field during spring training, and had a fantastic time hanging out with my boy Chris. Really was very, 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 very nice and hanging out, drinking beer, eating hot dogs, and enjoying baseball. It's the perfect life. I mean, it's as good of a life as you can live. Being at a ballpark, drinking beer and eating hot dogs. I mean, come on, guys. That's I don't know what's more American than that, and being around good people. So, Chris, I appreciate your hospitality there. I'm looking forward to doing more in the future. I was happy. Wait, what did Aaron say? I'm happy I was there to see Otami's. Oh, hey, Aaron, man, that's the only bad part. I'm sorry. I was waiting on Jeff to see if he would get there this last week, but he had prior obligations that came up. But I'm going to get back, Aaron. I guarantee you I can probably see you at some point if you're still in the Arizona area at another time. But worst case, definitely see you next year, because next year I might stay for a week. Next year for spring training, I might stay a week at my family's place and just go to every game for that week. So we'll make it work. Joe and G, are we expecting competitive game tomorrow? Yeah, I'm expecting a competitive game. I just don't know how competitive. I don't know, Gerald. What do you think?
It's all depending. Can you hold Giannis under 30? That's the key. I'm not asking for an under 20 or anything like that. I'm asking if you can hold him under 30, and Lillard, Lillard, you can get him to go ahead and be like an 8, like Luka was 8 for 23, 8 for 26, something like that. That's not, if he doesn't get hot, that's one thing. But Giannis can totally take over a game still, even at this period in his career. I mean, he's still a top 5 MVP like player. So that's the big concern. Do the Lakers have someone that they can match up? DFS is back and going to be back in the lineup. You saw he's off the injury report. So guess who gets the Giannis draw for most of that game, Joe? It'll be him. No Rui and no LeBron to provide big bodies against him. Jameson will probably try and probably try to decapitate him, as Jameson does. But if we can hold him under 30, then I think that the Lakers, I think Luka and AR will have better games. The thing is, will Goodwin, Gabe, and Connect be able to support them? You got the support from them in Brooklyn, even though I wish Connect had been a little more efficient. But hey, 8 of 18, 19 points, we'll take it. But Goodwin and Gabe had really good days in Brooklyn, Joe, and it's so bad to see them wasted in a loss like that. I'm hoping they can duplicate that in Milwaukee. If they can, it makes work for AR and Luka a lot easier. 2 days rest. One of the last times I'll have it before the end of the season.
They will need a Luka Doncic ownership game tomorrow.
If they can get him on Lillard, that could be an issue.
But they're going to probably press. I think that's going to be the only way you can stop Luka, is just to put pressure on him as much as you can until there's a way that JJ can form a response to that. It was very obvious that the last 2 games they were in press coverage on Luka, and it worked. So I'm going to be curious to see how they adjust to that. Luka needs room.
AR's got to step up. AR's got to step up tomorrow.
Yeah, AR. There's athletes in Milwaukee, and AR is going to have to. They're going to have to get into their offensive set quicker. Once they cross half court, they're going to have to get that ball. I would say you probably want to get the ball out of Luka's hands when he crosses half court, and then get it back to him to the point where he has space.
Yeah.
And that's going to be something consistent. That's going to be needed consistently so that he can operate and allow the lanes to open and allow the defense to have to collapse. Otherwise, he's either going to get to the basket, hit a mid-range shot, hit a 3-point shot if he's going to do a step back, or at least give it to the open man on the edges. They're going
to probably put Prince on him first, Joe.
Okay.
Because he's starting. He's been starting for them, so they're probably going to put him on him first. But if you can go ahead and switch and get Luka with Lillard, he could have a big game.
Jay White, remember I told you guys matchups matter. So Jaylen Brown can play Luka better than he can play SGA. SGA is too athletic. Like he is, his fast twitch fiber ability is why it's difficult for anyone to guard him. And if it's Jaylen Brown, who's a much bigger player, usually that's going to be hard too, because you got a bigger sized player that's trying to guard a guy that's really, really good and really, really quick. It's easier for Jaylen to guard Luka, because Luka's not going to blow past you with freakish athleticism. He's going to pound you, and he's going to try to dribble around you, and he's going to try to distribute, as he's in his pocket to some degree, which is something that if the Lakers should face Boston in the finals, that's something I expect the Lakers to adjust to even then. I think there's got to be a way where, and if it's not this year, the next few years, because Boston's going to be good for a while here. And my remedy to that is the Lakers will need at least one guy that can get the ball once press coverage starts. If they can get that player that can get the ball once they're sensing press the press defense, the press coverage, and he's able to break down that I almost call it like a front zone on one guy. That's not a real name to it, but that's what I call it. It's like they zone in on Luka, and what happens when you put pressure and you're close to that player? Well, that should open up things for others to get the ball, and then everybody's kind of scrambling, because usually you want to stand back in a defensive position and make sure that you kind of have your peripherals kind of in line. When you start to guard guys, chest to back or chest to chest, you risk the chance of, especially if he's a bigger player, to get the ball elsewhere and start kind of exploiting the gaps in that defense.
Just wanted to update people again who just came on the show halfway through or whatnot. We put this at the beginning, but you see that DFS has been taken off the injury report. But as you can see, Rui, Jackson, LeBron, and Maxey are still listed as out right now for the Los Angeles Lakers. And of course, Luka. It was interesting, Joe, like we talked about earlier. Luka is listed with a right ankle soreness, not his back and not the calf, as questionable. Questionable, I can understand, but the reason why was kind of, I don't remember the ankle issue, but okay.
That was 4. Ugh. So, Intel, do I got to drink Jeff's too?
We'll find out the answer. He'll pop on in a second. Yeah, I saw that between the two older aging centers, Miles Plumlee and Steven Adams. That was interesting. That takes me back to like 20.
Man, they made it out like they were punching each other's face. They're like, Plumlee bleeding, and I'm looking. I'm like, these guys aren't going to fight in the NBA. They can't afford to fight in the NBA. They'll get suspended for 30 games.
Yeah.
What a joke. They like fell on each other because they didn't want to punch each other. Soft ass league, even. I'm not blaming the players for not fighting, because if they fight, they're going to get kicked out and they're going to lose millions of dollars. You can't afford to fight these days. Out of town scoreboard. What are we sitting at here? San Antonio beat Dallas. That's not good for Dallas.
But they didn't hurt them because Phoenix lost to Houston. Houston's won 4 in a row, which I mentioned earlier. The Clippers won at Miami. Zubac's another huge game. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Joe, before I don't, because you hate me touching on Zubac, but then one last thing on Zubac. Would you have given the same package that the Lakers gave Charlotte for back to the Clippers for Ivica Zubac?
Wait, what?
Would you the package that the Lakers had originally offered for Mark Williams in Charlotte? Would you have given that for Zubac?
Yes.
At least we agree on something, because I would have done that too.
That should be common sense, though. Could you imagine Zubac?
I was just curious.
Luka and LeBron? He'd be an all-star.
Dude, he's scoring now. Okay, even after the All-Star break, he's been killing it. Man, 26 and 14 tonight. He had like 4 blocks. Was it 19 and 14 yesterday? Harden is making him look really good, because they, again, like you said, it's all about the pick and roll. Yeah. Brandon, he is always questionable. Yeah, he's always. I mean, these stars, Brandon, they're always listed as questionable. Yeah, until he has played great this season. Credit to him, because you know what? He cashed in. He got his contract. He could have easily slid off the map, and nope. And Harden, Harden really got him that nice contract because of the way they play, and credit to them. He's improving as opposed to digressing. So yeah, I hate that he's on the Clippers, but man, good for him.
Bloodhound, I know our esteemed colleague Money Mark, I call him, from Australia. He's a big Josh Giddey fan, likes to support his countrymen. I feel like crap, 805. That's 5 shots of rum that I did not need to drink tonight, but I have to honor I have to honor the super chat. So I have one more left, and I'll be doing it probably in under 10 minutes or 12 minutes or something. So I should get a pat on the back because, that's the kind of stuff I need in my life, right? Mm-hmm. No, the center position in the summer will be the big topic of discussion for the Lakers. I think it's going to be a game changer for them should they get the guy that they want. And one perimeter player that has some speed and the ability to get to the basket with some ease. Those are the two things that this team needs. If they get a bona fide, legitimate starting center, where have we heard that before, by the way? And getting a perimeter player that can bust the Luka zone, I think you're set up for success. Can they get those players though without giving up can they get those guys without giving up too much depth? That will be the difficult task for Rob and the crew to put together. That's what it's going to be. That's what's going to be because they're not drafting anybody in the first round this year. Those draft picks would another first round hit would have helped, right? I think Dalton Connect has been a gigantic success this year, and I'm very, very happy that they drafted him, and he continues to play games, and we're starting to see things in the future that you'll probably see on a regular basis. He's not there yet, but I feel pretty comfortable. And what this could do too is if he plays really well through the playoffs, whether they win or not, whether they win the title or not, but he plays really, really well. Now that gives you another asset that could bring you a possible third guy that could really make the difference. So we want all these guys to play well. We want them to play really, really well, especially the young guys. Where are we here? I saw something from Intel. We need a big. Yeah, Intel, we need a big. I'm going to shoot my 6th shot here, and this is it for me, buddy. I ain't doing this probably for the rest of the night. I appreciate it. I'm not blaming anybody for it, by the way. Intel, thank you so much for the super chat. That helps this channel. I'm glad I had some food before I drank, too. Salute, number 6.
Brandon's offering some targets of his. He said Gafford in a trade. First off, I don't know how well that would go over if Nico does another trade with the Lakers, but okay. I was hoping they would have gotten him in the Luka trade, but yeah, I certainly could use him. Quentin Grimes, he had that 44-point game. It's so funny because you could have gotten him for pretty much a bag of potato chips right around the trade of trading deadline, and yeah, I mean he's certainly up the ante a little bit there. Seni Aldama, who's a restricted free agent, that one's going to be a hard one because Memphis will try to sign them, and they have a much lower salary cap right now than Lakers, even though they're going to try and extend Triple J in the summer. Resign Hayes. The thing is, how much would you resign Hayes for? Because he is on the minimum now for the Lakers. So would you want him as primarily your backup and not your starting center. And then another body like Steven Adams. You get you the rebounds. Sure.
If Steven Adams can play 60 games throughout the year and be available for the playoffs, I think that would be a good pickup. Mm-hmm. And then you can have Hayes as a backup there. I think that would be ideal.
I still think you need a starting center, though, even if you got Adams.
Well, if you got Adams, how are you going to get Adams? Through free agency?
Yeah, because he's going to be a free agent, I believe.
Okay. What's he going to demand? You think he's going to be a $10 million a year player?
Oh, no. Those days are gone, Joe, especially after that injury. He was out over a year.
They're in the second apron, right? Or are they in the first apron still? They're still in the first apron, right?
The Lakers' first apron, yeah.
Okay. So they're still in the first apron, which means they're not going to be able to sign someone for the MLE, well, it would depend on how they shave the roster. Then it would depend on how the roster gets shaved, and then do they trade a lot of these expiring contracts? I don't know. It's going to be tough to figure that one out. But if there's a way they can get a Steven Adams,
he'll probably be minimum.
Steve Adams?
Yeah, he's not the player he once was,
minimum?
Joe. He's only a bit player on Houston. He's maybe a little higher than that, but
that would be great. Then that would be great. I think he would.
He is not.
You can't. Well, Gerald, you can't get a guy that you want without paying a lot of money for him. I'm trying to think of a serviceable big, someone that you're not really worried about.
I'm just saying it's not the Steven Adams you might remember from OKC.
No. That's not going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. No, we just need him to be. We just need him for 60 games in the regular season and be available for the playoffs. Someone who's a big body, someone who can get the ball on pick and rolls, get to the basket, get some rebounds. I mean, that would be, if they get him on the cheap in the summer, that is huge because now they can focus on their assets, their expiring contracts and their assets to go get that player I was telling you about, a guy that can actually be somewhat of a third star on this team with AR. Clint Capella is. I've been watching him play. He looks terrible. Yeah, I guess if it's on the cheap, yeah, but I'd rather have somebody like Adams. He takes up a lot of room,
and he can rebound. To look washed.
He looks really washed. The last time I saw him in Atlanta in the Atlanta game, he looked terrible.
Okongwu finally replaced him in the starting lineup this year. I know it took like forever, which doesn't speak well for Okongwu, but finally supplanted him, and he's struggling. Did we say Larry Nance Jr. was a free agent? Because that's a guy who could stretch it out for you as a backup center.
I'd rather have a legit center.
Okay.
I want a legit center. Larry Nance is more of a power forward to me.
Okay, because he shot 45% from three this year. So he finally, remember when he couldn't shoot past the free throw line? Yeah, those days are.
He put in the work. He's an $11 million a year player. He'll be a free agent if you can get him. Also on the cheap, sure. There's definitely familiarity there, and there's a skill set that they could definitely use, especially if they trade some of these guys. It's gonna. I think the Lakers are going to be in good shape to get somebody really, really well. I'm not too worried about, because they do have the assets. They are going to have $59 million in expiring contracts, and they're also going to have draft capital that they didn't have to use in the Mark Williams trade to now butter some teams up and get what they want with Luka and LeBron and their peeps.
Oh man!
Would you rather get both legs hammered like the scene in Misery, or a chair punishment Daniel suffered? I'd rather get the Daniel Craig suffered from.
I would rather get the legs in Misery.
No.
Yeah.
No.
The legs broken.
Hell no. Hell no. The anticipation of that scene was horrific.
Oh, I watched that in the theaters with my first wife. Yeah, we were just like jumped out of the seat when she did that. Kathy Bates was incredible in that movie. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, Nick, for the super chat. Whew. Still small, BTS 6'9". He's 6'9", because we just talked about Larry Nance 6'9". 6'9". You're not start. You should not start a 6'9" center.
What if it's Dwight Howard though? Dwight Howard's 6'9".
You want to start him now? People can still ask for him every day.
You do know that, right? He's 6'9". He's not 7 feet.
I thought it was 6'10", but that's just me.
He might be with shoes, which that's technically the correct height because that's what they're playing in, right? LeBron taking 15 mil pay cut goes a long way. I don't know, Brandon. I don't know how that would work. It would depend on if they came to him and said, LeBron, if you opt out, we have a chance to get God, who would be available that would matter as a third guy?
I think I think we should just take some time to evaluate that, take a look at the landscape, and see what happens, and before we start throwing names out there, because I really want to think about that. I really want to think about that and say, you know what, that's a good match. Just not like Laker Tom, who threw us like 15 names out there and then just falls in love with one. I know Miles Turner, his favorite will be a free agent this summer.
Miles Turner.
Does he spike? Yeah, does he spike your interest at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As a free agent, hell yeah. No, that
just
would
wish
work.
he rebounded better. I just wished he rebounded better. That's all.
The Miles Turner is relatively young, though. I think he's going to get a better deal than what the Lakers can give him, unless there's a sign and trade.
So he's not a $20 million player. He'll still get, I think he'll get more than that.
He's, what is he? 29. He's
I'll
29.
check.
I think he's gonna be 29. Yeah. So I'm not. I don't know what they'll have to get these guys. It's gonna need.
Yeah, it'll be his the upcoming season will be his age 29 season.
Yeah, so he's in his prime, and he's a big. Somebody's gonna sign him. The question is, who has cap room right now?
Kessler, I think we need to just stop on Kessler, though, Joe. Let me just say this: Kessler, again tonight, 6 block shots. Why, if you're Danny Ainge, or if you're, let's say, you're a general manager in the league, why would you get rid of a player that has his rebounding and shot blocking capability at such a young age? Why would you be so free to trade him away, Joe?
Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he dangled that to see if somebody who was desperate really would give him a what is it called? A king's ransom?
Yeah.
That's a smart move. If somebody comes in, didn't they give I always get the Bridges names wrong. Is it the one in New York? Is it Miles Bridges?
Yeah, they give the 6 drafts. Yeah, the 6 draft choices, or 5 or 6 first rounders.
That was an absolute overpay. They should have never did that in my view. Is it Miles Bridges, right?
Yes, Miles Bridges.
And then the one in Charlotte is Malik. I'm totally drawing a blank right now. I don't know why. Hold on. Charlotte. Jesus, my damn Bridges.
No, Miles Bridges in Charlotte.
Miles Bridges is in Charlotte. Okay, that's it. That's the one.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And then Brooklyn. I'm sorry, New York. Where are we here? Mikal.
That one.
That's it. Yeah, I got him switched. Mikal Bridges. So thanks, guys. Sorry, I think the alcohol's already taken over. Sorry.
By the way, Jackson Hayes has played 40 games this season. You guys were asking in the chat.
So Kessler, Kessler would be perfect. But if Utah wins the lottery and gets Cooper Flagg, there's no way they're going to trade him, because that's a piece with a team that could start winning now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's contracted until next year, until he gets his little qualifying offer. So I don't think Kessler's an option unless the Lakers want to. I don't think they have enough to get him anyways. And the Lakers' talent don't, unless they're throwing Reeves in there. I don't think the Ainge would want that deal anyways. How much for Joe to smoke a joint? 805. I'm sorry, but I don't smoke weed. I'm at home, especially at home in my studio here. That one I can't do. That's a good one though.
Are you asking? BTS? Are you saying 20 million per or 5 million a year? Because you're saying Jackson will get 4 for 20. Is that 5 million a year? I can see that, but not 20 million a year. He's not a 20 million a year center.
It would depend on how he plays in the playoffs. If the Lakers end up going on a run and he's balling, there's a possibility, yeah. But I think he could go to 3, 4 for 2 years. I don't know about 4. 2-year deal,
5
3,
million.
4 million.
I could see that.
Let's say
BTS.
5 mil. Okay, 5 mil for 2
5 million.
years, 10 million for 2
That's
years.
a backup center. Yeah, I'd take that. Yeah.
Now, tough. Sabonis would be the holy grail, but the Lakers are going to have to trade some serious and probably have. That would be a player that I would trade Reeves for. That's the third. That's a bona fide third star. Sabonis, LeBron, and Luka.
LeBron has to take a pay cut.
I think he would. For Sabonis. I feel pretty confident he would. If he wants to win another championship, he has to do that if that's what's on the table. But I just don't see Sacramento making that trade, guys. I don't see it.
VA4RAR says, Joe,
It's possible. Don't get me wrong. Luka came to LA. Anything's possible. But Sacramento, Portland, teams like that don't trade with the Lakers unless they fleece the team. Unless they remember how Clippers and Lakers were never doing a deal because of the Norm Nixon deal back in '84. Remember that? Remember for years they didn't because they got pissed off about it. Well, folks, they returned the favor, and they returned the favor in a really bad way too. I'd say it's well maybe on the Clippers side now with how bad that trade was, due that they got Mike Muscala in return. Wow, what a
That's again behind the Westbrook trade. That is my second all-time worst trade for the Lakers. But V4AR was asking, okay, what is your definition of the balling? As far as how much he does in playoffs, 10 and 10.
If he drops, I don't think he's going to get 10 rebounds. If he drops 10 points, because it seems like when he scores 10 points, 10 to 12 points, they are very, very valuable 10 to 12 points. There are always these alley-oops or a rebound putback, rebound dunk, whatever. I know he doesn't do that a lot, but his 10 to 12 points are like 24 points to the Lakers. It's just that extra 10, 12 points in a game that really, really adds everything. It adds to what's already good there with their current roster. If he rebounds 6, 7, a rebound, and then maybe gets a couple blocks during the playoffs and plays 30 minutes, that would be the Jackson Hayes' balling. He would guarantee himself a better contract, even if he doesn't stay in LA. I think somebody would give him 2 years for 10 mil. I try to gas him up doing that shit. I'd be like, hey, listen, you ball like you've been balling here lately. We have a better chance of winning a championship. You win a championship, your money's gonna. What is he getting paid now? A couple mil?
Yeah, he's just on the minimum.
Yeah. So now you can double your money or triple your money. Shit. Make it happen, baby. Oh, Robert Wheeler's back. Hold on a second. Joe Gerald, since LeBron and Rui is still out for tomorrow, who do you want taking the first, second, third most shots for the Lakers tomorrow? I want Luka to take the most, and I want Reeves to take the second most.
But be more efficient.
And the third, probably Connect.
You want to say another 18 for Connect? Because he threw up 18 in the Brooklyn game.
Connect third.
But they need to hit, those three need to hit more efficiently. And man, if we could get that same kind of game from Goodwin and Gabe Vincent again, my God, that's the part I told you earlier, Joe, that hurts the most is those two guys doing what they did in the Brooklyn game and the Lakers wasting it. So.
Yeah, Jay, I agree with you. Chet is not going to get traded unless, heck, I thought there was a chance that maybe if Oklahoma City didn't win this year, they might call Dallas and say, "Hey, what do you want for AD?" And I'll give you Chet. But
or Milwaukee for Giannis.
I don't think. I don't think Milwaukee does that.
You don't think no matter how
He would
many
have to
picks they throw at him?
He would have to demand it. Yeah, unless he demanded it. Yeah, then
Because I remember I told you the other day that all the players on OKC's full roster, Joe, they already have a contract for next season. Plus, they have 3 first-round draft picks for this.
I think Giannis goes to
upcoming
New
draft.
York if he demands a trade.
Okay.
I
They
think
don't have
he's
the
been
assets
hinting. He's been hinting at the
left,
big
though.
markets.
Okay.
However, Giannis and SGA and that young team,
Watch out.
that might be it. That might be what they need. Even if they have to give up Chet. They still have Hartenstein there, so they don't. I'd make that trade, dude. You got to win a championship, dude. You got to win a championship. You can't keep waiting. And Chet is like butter brickle, as Phil Leotardo used to say on The Sopranos. You all know what I'm talking about if you watch The Sopranos.
You could see Giannis in Miami and trading Bam. The thing is, do they have enough assets? You're right. Bam.
Oh yeah.
They could do it just because of the money.
Oh, they would. See, Miami doesn't have anything, Brandon, to give Milwaukee. They're tapped out too. What are they going to give him? Tyler Hero, Duncan, Robinson. That's not enough. No, if you're Milwaukee, you got to get a young future talent. Chet Holmgren can be a perennial defensive player of the year type guy.
Do Bam, Tyler
Granted, he's made
Hero,
of glass,
maybe Triple
but
J as well.
a lot of guys were made of glass. Shoot, Steph Curry his ankle was made of Cinderella's glass slipper for what, 4 years? That blessing in disguise actually allowed them to give him a second contract that wasn't that high, which allowed them later to have enough room under the cap to sign Durant. So that ankle that messed him up ended up helping him win 2 more championships. And it would have been 3 if Durant and Clay didn't get hurt in 19.
Well, V4AR, again, we've been talking about this before.
That's a good one, 805. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That might be something might be interesting. If it's not, as long as it's not Allen or obviously Mitchell, which it's not. Yeah, I think that could be interesting. That could be an interesting. But the thing is with KD is he's kind of I hate using the word toxic. He's not toxic, but his aura sucks. He's just got a bad aura around him. He's an ornery guy, and it's not the ornery like it was with Larry Bird back in the day or Kobe Bryant. That was a different. That was kind of a different. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Just kind of prickness. Those guys were about winning, and Larry Bird was upset kind of the last quarter of his career because he was so injured. He was frustrated. Kobe was just an angry dude because he wanted to rip your heart out. There's a difference. With KD, he just, I don't know, it just seems like he doesn't enjoy his life. I don't know him, so I might be wrong on that, but it certainly looks like that. I don't know if you want to mess that up in Cleveland.
Well, again, we said this the other day talking about the last 2 spots. Cam Reddish and Morris would probably be the 2 that are probably going to be the ones that are replaced. Because of salary cap reasons, the Lakers probably won't sign Trey and Goodwin till the end or right at the end of the season to a contract before they waive those guys, simply to stay under the second tax apron. Goodwin's played well for us. I think both Joe and I really like his game. But Trey Jameson, that's been a little bit rough recently. He was terrible in the Brooklyn game, absolutely terrible. But he does provide some size and 5 fouls, which you are going to need at some point in time. And he is strong, Joe. So maybe he can help you if you're guarding Jokic.
The Lakers need to, I think, focus more on making sure that Luka has space. They have to make the opposition pay when they press Luka and LeBron. And if they can, and it's going to be hard to it's going to be hard to do that against the teams that have elite defensive perimeter guys. Because the book is out. The book is out on how to somewhat contain Luka. Luka's still going to get his numbers. See, that's the thing, is you can't stop him in terms of getting his numbers. He's still going to drop 25-ish, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. That's going to happen no matter what. But it's how he gets those points and how much he has to work to get those points that's going to make a difference for everyone else. And the easier he gets those points, the quicker the Lakers are able to win. And he won't be as tired on the defensive end either. That's the other thing that you want to look at. If he's truly injured, if his back is bothering him, his ankle's really bothering him, he's still kind of tender on his calf, then, it's going to make it even harder at that point because he's not really healthy. But we're going to get a chance to see tomorrow if kind of where their head is, what they prepared for. I'm pretty sure that they practiced here the last couple of days. That's good because they rarely are able to do that, and they're not going to be able to practice Friday either because they got a game in Denver. It's a terrible back-to-back. This is probably one of the worst. This is the worst back-to-back that they have this year. They play in Milwaukee, then they got to fly to Denver. I don't know what it is about the goddamn NBA and putting Denver as the back end of a back-to-back. I don't know why they keep doing that. But it would say a lot. It would say a lot about JJ's ability to coach. I'll tell you that, if they somehow won both games. That would be nuts. We would be doing a 4-hour show, I think, if that happened, by the way, on Friday night. But
you're not going to change Luka. He is always going to bark at the refs, just like LeBron is always going to bark at the refs. I mean, you guys are saying the same thing.
You guys saw what happened in the Brooklyn game, right? Where you got pushed deliberately and they didn't call it. Yeah, that would be a video I would send to the NBA and say, if this is the kind of shit you guys are going to allow to go on, you better let us do it too.
But he is going to bark at the refs. That's what he does. I mean, again, people in Dallas said that for years. I wish he would be more on this and stop yelling at the refs and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, yes, we know that's just who he is. Him and LeBron both. 805, I agree with you. I didn't say that there is too much crying in basketball. But that's who they are. They're going to continue to argue with the refs. That's just who they are.
Well, again, we have to see what this lineup will do tomorrow in Milwaukee, and we'll be here. We'll be on playback at 4:30 Pacific time. And with that, I want to thank you, Gerald, for being here on the Nightcap. I'm starting to feel a little bit of a buzz, so it's gonna. If there's a silver lining in this, I'm gonna be able to put my head down and I'll be out probably within 2 minutes. So that's good.
2 things before we go. Thank you for the super chats, and then also as well, guys. I put in the description. We do have an ESPN Tourney Challenge group that we're going to start for the upcoming March Madness.
Very exciting. I look forward to watching you guys fill out your forms while I do nothing.
Oh, I'll blow up. Mine will just blow. After the first weekend, it's all toast. Yeah.
I got my water 805. It's in my In-N-Out cup. Mm-hmm. Water is good. With that, again, thank you all for being here tonight. We had a nice, consistent crowd here. I can't thank you all enough. I know I'm turning to Gerald now, thanking everybody, but it is fun. You guys ask great questions, and I love your participation. And we are here for all that good stuff. Again, thanks for Jeff for being here tonight as well. The Joe Soro experiment is slowly building. I just got my first graphic from our good friend Chris, the art director. So I'm going to do a little editing with that. Plus, I have some busy stuff also tomorrow before the game that I'll be taking care of. It's going to be a lot of good changes coming here, folks, in the next 8 months. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun because it's going to be the Lakers kind of going into the Luka era. It's going to be a playoff run, where they're going to be, how they're going to be. We're going to find out how it ends. Is it going to be really good, really bad? And then, of course, the fun part will start in the summer because we believe here at the Lakers Fast Break that that's when the Lakers are going to build this thing for their one guy, and that is now Luka Doncic. And if he has that roster that truly fits his skill set, we are going to look forward to a very, very, very fun 5 to 6 year run here again as Laker fans. And I have no doubt, because history says it will, that the Lakers will eventually be winning championships again in the near future. So with that, thank you all for tonight. And again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening everywhere you're going or wherever you are. And until next time, I'll see you next time.